Glad to have you here, guys. Got another episode of the Flow Roll, and this time we've got head coach of Mildura BJJ, Luke Burnham. Happy to have you on, Luke. How you been?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'm honoured.
No problem at all. No problem. No. So Luke and I have met once before. We came over to SA from Melbourne with two of his athletes to compete on one of the fusion cards, and we met him the day after. And Luke's a great dude. He's doing some awesome stuff with the girls and the boys over at Mildura BJJ and the First Nations Jiu-Jitsu. So it'd be cool to have a chat to you and really expand into how you got into it, what you're doing over there. So not only we can get yourself some more exposure, but the girls as well, and the awesome stuff that you're doing with the girls with First Nations. So pleasure is mine to have you on, bro, and it was great to meet you when you were over. But so you've just come back from Victoria. You took the girls over for Victorian States.
Yep.
How was that experience, bro?
It was really good. Like we had actually had a pretty decent team go over from the gym. I think we had 16 or 17 all up compete, which was pretty cool. You know, we're not one of those gyms that tell everyone they have to compete or anything. It's completely up to them. I don't compete. I'm just a lifer. So, But yeah, we took 3, I think, of our First Nation scholarship athletes across, which was good. Tyler got double gold. So in her gi and no gi div, she was up a girl that won the Abu Dhabi World Pro last year.
Wow!
Down from Queensland, and Tyler did. I think the first fight, I think she won 12-0, and the second fight was around 8-0, something like that. She couldn't get the sub, so dominated. She was disappointed. Yeah. But and Harmony was the same. Like Harmony only had one girl in her division in both gi and no gi, and that girl also was a double Abu Dhabi World Pro champion, and this year won the Pan American.
Jesus.
She's from Gracie Baja in one of the Sydney gyms up there. She's a little beast, and Harm's got subbed by her in the gi, and then in the no gi, Harmony was actually up with 50 seconds to go, and she got a sweep and got up and got a bit excited that she was going to beat this girl and got her back.
Yeah. It happens. It's part of the learning experience too.
Nah, that's it. I mean, Harmony's been training 12 months. This other girl has been training for years.
Wow. Super impressive.
Yeah. And Zell, she'd been battling the flu all week, and she was still pretty crook on the weekend. She's still pretty crook now. But she wanted to get out there because she's got Worlds coming up. So she got out there and fought her butt off. She got a bronze in the gi, and then, was really possibly should have won her no-gi fight, the final. But went down. But I was more so proud of her just for her courage and her will to get out there and still compete when she was, she looked like shit.
It's a scary thing to compete, and more so if you're not physically at your best as well.
Yeah.
So credit to anybody who competes, because like I said, it's a ballsy thing to do, particularly when you know that you're not at your maximum and potentially your opponents will be. So credit to all the girls, and credit to you for taking them over, bro. So before we get into the First Nation stuff, let's talk about your journey, how you got into jiu-jitsu, how you got to the position where you're running a big school in Mildura. What got you into jiu-jitsu? What did the beginning of your journey kind of look like?
So our gym was, my journey into jiu-jitsu was my son's, essentially. My eldest boy, a lot of people probably know, Cooper Burnham. He's a
very good black belt.
Yeah, black belt. So when he started jiu-jitsu, that's when my interest sort of came about in it. And my younger son, Bodie, who's now 19, so he's not that young anymore. But through my kids, and they were training at a local gym here, and there was a bit of a fallout with the coach, and so at the time Cooper was he just turned 16 and he was going to quit jiu-jitsu, and his professor lived in Melbourne at the time, Tiago Stefanuti, rang me up and said, why isn't Cooper training, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, Cooper ended up moving to Melbourne to live with Tiago and his family and train down there.
Wow. Yeah.
We left that decision up to Cooper. We didn't want to lose our son at 16, but
yeah, of course.
But we left it up to him, and he wanted to do it. He loves jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was hard for 12 months, but for both of us, for him and for his parents and his brother too. But it was the best for him, though. Now he's an absolute beast.
Yeah, man, he's killing it.
Yeah, so like black belt at 21, I think he was. So
yeah, and not just a black belt. He was competing at the highest tournaments and medaling and doing extremely well. I saw the match at his trials where he had the knee injury from the lockdown. He was looking great. He was looking. Yeah. He was looking great. So.
Yeah, he's got this covered.
Yeah, he was. It looked that way for sure. So it's just one of those unfortunate things. But he wasn't just a black belt. He's one of the better black belts in Australia for sure. So
yeah, that's right. When he I think about when he got his black belt, he about a month afterwards he competed at Boa, which was like the Boa Super 8, and he got asked in there as a late replacement. So it was sort of like on 2 weeks' notice, and it was like the best middleweights in Australia, and he was a lightweight at the time. And he went on there and won it. And we went there thinking, I'd be happy if he just wins a fight.
Yeah.
Mad guys on there.
Yeah.
Like,
high level.
Yeah.
Super high level.
And he just kept winning. He asked me to corner him because, of course, his professor was running that event, so he couldn't be seen as biased or anything. But I was cornering him and just singing. When he won his first one, I'm going, oh, that's cool, we got one. And then he won his second one, I'm going, holy cow.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
So, basically when he moved to Melbourne, I had another friend up here that messaged me and said, look, I want to start a gym. He was a brown belt at the time. Purple belt. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll come and help out. So he started that and I was helping him and then became his business partner. And then, probably 6 to 8 months later, he moved to Melbourne. So I was like, oh, okay.
It's you.
Yeah, what am I going to do now?
Yep.
So I spoke to my professor, which is Tiago Ferreira from Central Coast. Yep. And I asked him because, I was only a fresh blue belt, very fresh blue belt. And he said to me, do it. He said, why not?
Yep.
I'll support you.
Awesome.
And we sort of haven't looked back. Now I'm a brown belt now. Bodie's purple. He'll probably get his brown this year too. We've promoted 2 guys to, well, not me, but Tiago has, to black. We're probably I think we're in our 8th year at the gym now. So it's been a pretty cool experience. And the gym. When you set up a pretty big gym there in Mildura, I still think of this as a little country gym. So it's still, when we win team trophies and stuff at comps, it still just blows me away that we're even in that position.
Oh, in that context, for sure. But in the context of when you were telling me like how many, particularly young people, you're helping out at the team, like there are a lot of gyms in Adelaide who probably don't have as many members as you do kids at your gym. So that's a testament to obviously what you've built and the community that you've fostered within the gym. That all contributes. So
that was a focus for us when I started was, we knew what we didn't want from a gym. So it was 100%. A really, really big importance for us to have that family environment and that family feel and where everyone's treated equal. I didn't want little cliques or anything. I just wanted everyone to feel they belong.
100%. And particularly with jiu-jitsu, like everyone's seen an armbar from the guard. Everyone knows what side control looks like. There are details, obviously, from gym to gym, and all gyms aren't equal. But what really is the difference between the gyms are the people that's inside them a lot of the time. And people can get really caught up on, well, this technique is at X level or whatever. But if you're not enjoying your training with the people that you're with, you're not going to be in a learning phase anyway. So
Yeah.
you may as well not be getting that technique. You need
Yep.
to be able to trust your training partners, enjoy being there, want to go there. And all of that is culture. And that doesn't just happen. Like, I'm sure you've been to plenty of gyms where you kind of look around, you're like, fuck, man, this is wild in here. You know what I mean? And and each to their own, obviously. But some people need a certain type of place to thrive, and it sounds like you've provided a nice little hub there for people of all ages and from all walks of life to come through and better themselves in martial arts in some capacity.
Yeah. I think it's important. I even this morning, like we had a breakfast meeting with like, I think the lady's title is like the Commissioner of Indigenous Kids and Youth for Victoria. So like she advises the government on all things to do with Indigenous kids and youth for Victoria. And they were asking the girls questions about, just random topics because they were trying to do a survey of how they can try and improve things for the kids and in schooling and stuff. And they said, oh, where do you feel safe? Like, where do you feel the safest? And they both said at the gym. So that was pretty special to me.
100%, man. That's you can't really quantify or put a price on what that means. You know? Like the amount of people all over the world that would do anything to feel safe for just 10 minutes, bro. That's something that obviously you would be super in touch with, is that it's that weird intangible that martial arts can offer people where it can change your life even if you didn't get good at it. Just being in the room with the people and learning new skills and challenging yourself every day, it can only make you a stronger and better person, assuming you're doing it with good people.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I was saying before about competing. I say to everyone, we tell people that this comp's coming up, after class or whenever, or via emails or socials. But I always, specify, comps are an individual thing. If you want to do them, we'll try and be at them for you to help you out and corner you and stuff like that. But if you don't want to do them, that's cool too. Everyone's journey is different.
100%. And it's awesome that you approach it that way. You provide the opportunity, but you don't push people into directions. Because I know people, like friends from other gyms, and I've seen people at the gym I trained at. A lot of people kind of compete because a lot of other people tell them they should. And they have like a really negative experience, and it kills it for them. And it's not worth it. It's just competition jiu-jitsu. And I was literally talking to one of my mates the other day about this because he wasn't happy with one of his results. I'm like, in 4 days, bro, no one's going to know who the fuck won your division. Like it's like, you're going to know for sure because you were part of it, and the winner will know. But the world's going to keep rolling how it's rolling. Nothing's going to change for you. The people that love you will still love you. The job you've got will still be there. Everything's going to be the same. It's just one match on one day. But it can be a super negative experience for people, and people get hung up on the idea that you need to compete. It's just not true. You can get plenty good. There's plenty of dudes at my gym, and I'm sure there's plenty of dudes at your gym and girls who don't compete, and they're killers. And it's like there's these anonymous guys in the background that make the competitors way better. You need those people as well. So I think that's the best way to look at it, man, because offer the opportunity. If they want to take it, they take it. If not, we'll just keep rolling as is. So you mentioned, obviously you've mentioned you do a lot of work with some Indigenous youth and stuff like that. How did that begin, man? Like, because obviously you've created a really cool program. You're sending them over to Worlds. You've managed to achieve that with the community. That doesn't just happen. How did all that start?
So a couple of years back, we got involved with the local Indigenous co-op here to run some teens programs, and they were just like through the day we're doing self-defense, sort of just movement style things. And it was really good. Like, we had teens coming in, and they just had troubled home lives or trouble in general. Like,
Yeah.
and a few of them really enjoyed it, and one of them was Giselle.
Yeah.
She was like, I think it was the first class she came into, and I recognised her because I'd known her when she was younger in town here, like when she was 5 or 6, but then she'd sort of dropped off the map for a couple of years, and now she was like 13, I think she was, or something like that, when she came in for this program. And I started having a bit of a yarn to her, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" She said, "Oh, nothing, just, school." And she really enjoyed the day, and I went up to her after the class and said, "Why don't you try jiu-jitsu?" And she said, "Oh, Mum wouldn't be able to afford it." And I said, "Don't worry about that." I said, "If you want to come tomorrow night, jump in a normal class, do that, and let's just see what happens." So she came, and she loved it, and she's one of the most naturally gifted athletes you'll see. She just adapts to it. So she does such funky shit when she's rolling, and you just think, "Geez, that didn't come from me."
Where's that come from? Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what started the pro, like our scholarship program, because I said, "How can I help this kid?" She was out scrapping every weekend on the streets, and not getting to school enough. She was just on her way down the wrong track. So I said, "Do you want to train?" I said, "I'll start a scholarship program. That's what we'll do. I'll pay for your fees. I'll give you a uniform. If you want to compete, we'll work that out too." And she said, "Yeah, I'd love to." So that started her journey. She went from training once, now she trains every night.
So good.
Last night she taught our teens. She said to me at the start of the week, "Luke, can I teach all the teens classes this week? I want to get better at my teaching." I said, "Hells yes, you can."
Yep.
So come up with her own stuff, like her own curriculum she wants to teach this week to the teens. So she's doing that.
Yep.
And I said to her, it's only going to help you with your jiu-jitsu, because when you teach, you work out techniques, I believe, because you have to break 100%. Them down, teach them. And so, she was our very first, and she's still with us. And, since she joined, she's had no scraps on the street. She's in year 11 now, and she's going to Worlds.
Yeah. All these things that, like, Giselle a couple of years ago probably could never have imagined ever happening for her, and she's going to be, as she gets older and continues, she's going to end up being like an Indigenous female black belt who's an instructor and is now going to be able to provide pathways and connections which will dig even deeper, and she's got an opportunity, like all the other girls there, and like yourself, to really be a pioneer for Indigenous people within the space, bro. Because ultra talented people, if you can get them in the right areas and give them opportunities, as opposed to that idea that they've got a lot of the time, and probably rightfully so, that a lot of people don't really care about them or want what's best for them, and this would be so powerful for them to have someone like you as well to show them, fuck, man, people care. People do care. Do you know what I mean? And it's not all. It's the small majority, the loud minority, which are loud and say all the hurtful and nasty stuff and all the stuff that breaks people down. A lot of people want to see them do well, bro. I've talked about them to a bunch of people, including my partner, and people just love it, bro. They just get behind it. They're like, "What? We've got like young Indigenous female athletes going overseas to compete at Worlds." Yeah. It's crazy. The idea that they're getting on a plane to go to LA, bro, like that would be wild to them. Like I couldn't fathom what it would be like for them. It's really awesome.
Zell's just really started to sink in this week, that because she said to me last night, "Luke, we're going to be in California."
Yeah,
we sure are.
And like I remember when I first went to LA, that was a bizarre, a surreal thing for myself, and I didn't have the challenges, and this idea that I could never do that, like, and now she is, and she's going to go over there and she'll compete hard, and she's super talented, and she's got a skill set now which can offer a career in the future. And man, I was super intrigued as to how it all kind of came about, because it's such an awesome initiative, and I grew up in the mid-north coast, and a place called Port Macquarie, and north and
Yep.
south there are big Indigenous communities, and I played a lot of like footy, like rugby league, and played a lot of sports. And whenever these kids like started playing and got a couple of training sessions under the belt, they were naturally better than everyone else. Running, footy, like everything. And it was like, it's like, wow, if we can harness this, man, like, and we can show them that there's lots of things that you can do as well. Like, because I don't
Oh, for
see,
sure.
well, up until this, I could be completely ignorant on the topic, but are there many Indigenous jiu-jitsu athletes floating around before, like, that are really out there on the scene and like competing, or is it still relatively new?
It's still relatively new. Like,
Yeah,
we're seeing more when we go to comps now.
yeah,
And it's so cool to see it. Like, they're all drawn to each other. Like, we've got a young lad, Ivan. He's more interested in the MMA side of things, but he does his jiu-jitsu and stuff. And he said to me last year, "Oh, coach, do you reckon I can come to this jiu-jitsu comp you're all going to?" And I said, "Yeah, switch your MMA training to jits for the last month, and let's do it." So he did it, and then within 10 minutes of us being at this comp, I look around and he's talking to this other black lad, and they were just hitting it off like they were best of mates. And it's
it's
become
community, I guess.
yeah, and it was so good to
Awesome.
see. Like, just it was really mad to see, and but yeah, you can definitely see like at the comps now, especially helps with smooth comps. You've got the your flags and stuff at smooth comps. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it's definitely getting bigger, and like you were saying with the kids, that's one thing I try and say to them all the time is that it's not just jiu-jitsu that you're training. I said you guys have got a real opportunity to make a name for yourselves and end up doing something you love as part of your job. So then it doesn't actually be a job.
Bro, like I said, the demand for any of those girls, one being women black belts, Indigenous women black belts, in a martial art that's super legit, extremely hard to get in, where there's super low representation for women, not just Indigenous women, like, they're going to be outliers in their field, and not only outliers, they're going to be fucking high level, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and young, and with the world kind of at their feet. Like, they're not going to be getting their black belts at 40. Like, they're going to be in the mix, bro. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. So it started with Giselle. How many athletes, both male and female, have you got now in this program?
We've got 12 scholarship athletes.
That's awesome.
So there's 2 boys.
Yeah.
2 boys, 10 girls. And that's not through like
that's boys. Super interesting.
Yeah, the boys in the. It is really strange because when we did this, we thought, it's going to be full of boys.
That's what I thought. That's what I would have thought naturally would have happened.
The Indigenous boys are a bit shame of jiu-jitsu, it's gay. You hug each other.
There's still that stuff going on. Yeah.
But but the girls have really, once Giselle started doing it, and then Tyler as well, then their friends have seen them do it, and they're going, "Oh, what are you doing?" Yeah. And so they want to come and get involved, and now we've just got so there's 12 now, and even like we were saying before about not competing, I think at the end of last year we took 9 to the one comp, which was pretty mad. It was so good to see them all out there having a crack, and they did really well. But so we're sort of stuck on 12 at the moment, mainly for cost reasons. I still fund everything myself. It's
that's
hard.
Not cheap, bro.
Nah.
Yeah. People might think just because it's your gym, like, you can give stuff away, but time is money, product is money, all of it's money. Like, it all costs something. So, and that's why I wanted to have you on, bro, as well, because none of this would be possible if you kind of just didn't put your hand up. 1, as a fresh blue belt, and then 2, to help Giselle. This is that thing where someone's got to, you build it and they'll come type of thing. And being stuck on 12, bro, I don't know how many gyms are letting 12 people train for free and helping them with competitions and giving them equipment and stuff like that. So it's fucking awesome, bro. It's
we do.
pretty cool.
People say that, like I have people say that sort of stuff to me, and it blows me away because I don't see what we do as a big deal, but
It is.
We also run kids. Like I run kids home every night before I go home. So like I'll normally have to do 2 trips from the gym before I get to go home to get home. And
this is what I mean, bro. Like not many people would be willing to do that, and it'd be so powerful for those girls and the boys to see that someone who's was a complete stranger, you're obviously a big part of their life now, was willing to give them a go, believed in them, you know what I mean? Put your time and effort and money into them. And they could easily be turned around, well, I don't know this guy doesn't know me. Why the fuck would he want to help me?
Yeah.
And you change that outlook forever now, like I said, everyone I've spoken to about this, I've spoken to lots of people about this, man, because I think it's awesome. Everyone is like, this is wicked. Like, this is this is what we need, bro. And I used to do a job where I worked on the door of a nightclub in the city, and there was there's a lot of Indigenous youth that hang around the city in Adelaide. It's probably pretty similar in town in Mildura. And obviously, young people in the city around alcohol, they drink and they get into fights, they get into trouble. And I was talking to this one kid, and I said to him, I was like, bro, every time you're out here, you're in a fight, none of your mates are backing you up. They're standing behind you, telling you should do this and you should do that. I was like, you should go. He lived like rural. I was like, go to this boxing gym, go give it a try, because there was no jiu-jitsu around. He gave it a try, and I didn't see him for like 6 months. And then I saw him 6 months, and he comes in, and he's got a bag from like Rebel Sports, and he's got all his new shit, and he's off to training. And I was talking to him. I was like, where you been, man? Like, it's good I haven't seen you, like, obviously, because that means you're not in the city drinking. He's like, oh, I ditched all my mates, and now I got mates at the boxing gym. And he's like, I realized that they were Indigenous kids, but they didn't want what was best for me. They wanted to see me kick off. They wanted to laugh at my reactions and all that type of stuff. And he's I'd say he's pretty much like Giselle now, where he's in the gym more nights than he's not. So by proxy, he's just not on the street doing crazy shit.
Yep.
And that's what you would have done, I'm sure, for lots of the kids with you as well. You mentioned Giselle was out there scrapping every weekend. Now she's not. She's helping kids and others learn to defend themselves.
Yeah, it's one of the things we do, like with their scholarship. They're one of the requirements we say to them is you can't get in trouble anymore.
That's awesome. So it's free training, but there's rules and there's things you need to be doing, and you need to be acting a certain way. Yeah, that's awesome. It's all ownership, and
you need to be attending school. No more getting in trouble in the streets. And it's really good. Like, they all keep each other accountable.
That's awesome.
I even seen a video of, and this is how bad the other kid can be, is that I seen someone sent me a Snapchat video of Giselle. There was girls wanting to fight her.
Yeah.
And the girls were egging her on, saying, make her hit you first so she loses her scholarship. You know what I mean? They know that she's a scholarship athlete with me, but they're trying to make her lose her scholarship. Bro. Yeah.
That's full on. Yeah. And obviously hurt people, and they're all victims at some point along. But every person has to make a choice, and it's like, well, who am I going to surround myself with, and what am I going to do with my time? And a lot of people can look at jiu-jitsu or martial arts and be super dismissive, but at the end of the day, it's a career path, and it's a productive career path and a healthy one, where they don't have to do these uniform 9-to-5 type of things where you wake up, you go to work, you fucking can't wait for it to finish, you go to sleep, you wake up, you're doing it all over again, which it only encourages that drinking and that bullshit on weekends and stuff like that anyway. So yeah, it's ultra powerful. So how long has this been going for, bro? Like, you've built this with Giselle, and it's up to 12 athletes now, and you're setting them to worlds, and they've been competing and stuff. How long has this taken to grow like this, bro?
Well, Giselle's been training for, I guess, probably 4 years. So that's probably
wild that she's that good. Is that after 4 years, bro? Like,
yeah. Like, she's won, national titles. She's won state titles. She's pretty much won everything there is to win. And that's why, I said to them at the start of the year, I said, let's aim big. Why not?
Why not?
I said, I guarantee it's going to happen. We need to fundraise and do all that sort of stuff, but let's aim for the top and, see how it goes. And we've actually only got, there's only one ends up going to the Worlds because of other issues with, getting passports. You find like a lot with the Indigenous kids is birth certificates and stuff like that are really hard to
Documents and
ascertain
stuff.
for them because they've just been lost over the years. So, but all three will be doing Abu Dhabi World Pro. That's
Wow.
guaranteed.
When's that?
Sorry?
When's the Abu Dhabi World Pro?
End of October.
Yeah,
October,
excellent.
November.
Are you still Are you guys fundraising for that still?
Yeah, we'll still be fundraising.
Beautiful.
More so for all our programs because, even just to go to, like, on the weekend we went to the VIX. There was 3 girls. The registrations alone for the 3 girls was almost $1,000.
The AFBJJ, that's a completely another conversation, but that shit's expensive, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's right. It is. And then, you throw in accommodation, food, travel. Last year when we took all 9, that was just to it wasn't an AFBJJ comp, that was a Savage Grappling comp down in Melbourne.
Yep.
And, accommodation and registration cost me $2,500.
Yeah, bro.
It's a big chunk, and we don't get...
It's you paying for it. I think that's what's important for everyone to remember who's listening to this. It's like they don't have carers and stuff paying for this stuff. It's I'm assuming you're the one that's funding all of it, bro. Yeah,
and it gets hard at times.
Sure.
You get that stigma from people. Oh, geez, they must be rich. Blah blah. No, mate. We struggle to pay rent at the gym every month. So it's
they don't know shit. If you were rich, you wouldn't require fundraising. That's just what it comes down to, bro. And
and we got people say, oh, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? I love what I do for these kids. They're bloody good kids. They just needed to be shown a good, a different path, or just
they
someone
needed someone to believe in them, bro.
Yeah, someone to hear.
Probably for a long time in their life, they probably never got heard or felt like they were worth anything or could do anything or were capable of learning skills or being productive members of society. Yeah, man. And there will be lots of people who have lots of opinions on what you should do and what you shouldn't do and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, like, you're not only changing 12 little lives, you're changing the lives of the people that are in your gym as well. And in the future, the people that will sign up or sign up because of Giselle and Tyler and Harmony and all these other people and stuff like that, it's going to be a knock-on thing. It's that you drop a pebble in the water and it ripples and it ripples and it ripples and it's going to keep rippling. So the reason I want to ask about the fundraising stuff is because obviously I'm going to provide, I'll grab all your links and stuff like that and all the suitable information, and we're going to pump that out as much as possible because, like I said, man, people get behind this stuff. And I think the girls would get a kick out of seeing how many people who don't know them think it's fucking awesome, bro. People want, I hand to God, I haven't encountered one person who wasn't like, that's awesome. Like, I hope they kill it, So, if there's any way that we can help by getting yous out there, as much exposure as possible, please always pass it on and let us know. And, so you're heading off to Worlds. Which one of the girls will be competing at Worlds? Because you mentioned one of them.
Giselle,
excellent. And how's her hamstring going?
Good. She got through the weekend well.
Beautiful.
She did all her recovery perfectly, which was, for Giselle, that's a big deal.
Good job, Giselle. I remember we were talking about her doing weights and shit. She's like, nah, I don't want to do that. But good job. She managed to get it done.
Yeah, so she took the required time off the mat and just did the recovery stuff that she needed to do. And even though she was badgering me like no other about, why can't I just roll? I'll just do light rolls.
Sounds nice. Yeah. So
she's the hamstring got through the weekend okay. Now we just got to get her over a flu and we'll be all set. But and she was talking about a division last night. I said, look, you got some really good girls in that division. So it's not like the old days when you go over there and there was 2 kids in it.
No one. Yeah.
There's like 7 already, and there's still a week left of regos for juvenile 2 blue belt girls. That's a big number,
Yeah,
and
bro.
some of them won Europeans and worlds and stuff. And I said, so you're going against the best now, but I said, why can't you win?
Well, she's going against the best, but she can also prove that she's one of the best.
Yeah,
Everyone, when you walk on the mat, it starts at 0-0. It's the beauty of every sport. Every time you start, you've got the exact same chance as the other person of getting the victory. And each match is its own. She could get out there, go on a tear, 2-3 matches, bro, and find herself on top of the podium, number 1. Easily.
I hope so, because I think they all work so hard, and it's such a big difference to anyone that starts jiu-jitsu and they you come from nothing, doing nothing, to just training all the time. It's a big deal. It's hard on the body, it's hard on everything, but
even more so for them, because obviously the extra challenges, it'd be so easy to just be like, fuck this jiu-jitsu shit, like life's too hectic and crazy and whatever. But the determination to stick in the gym, do the right thing, and not only just do that, but do it in an endeavor and a hobby that's fucking hard, bro. People forget that jiu-jitsu's hard, bro. And everyone likes to brag about the dropout rate and how awesome you are because you're still training, but then they complain that it's hard. And it's like, well, these two things can't they have to go together, bro. Like, it's either hard as shit or it's not. And it's hard. And for little people, I tell parents all the time, like, the amount of emotional regulation your little person's doing that a lot of adults can't do in a class, you should just be happy with that, because I see adults get frustrated. How's a little person supposed to learn something that's just as complex and be even more chill than an adult? It's not realistic, bro.
It's so true. And I grew up, basketball was my main sport, and I played some footy as well, and I did boxing, and jiu-jitsu is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. But I can't get enough of it. Injured or not, I'm still there. I'm still being stupid and rolling and being an idiot, but it's
part of the fun, bro.
Yeah, and it's helped my
life. Was I say not?
And I suffer a lot with anxiety, and it's definitely helped me out with that. The struggles of being under someone, can't breathe, and talking yourself through that. It's definitely helped my anxiety to no end.
You get these micro exposures to really full-on positions in a safe environment where it's like, all right, usually I get claustrophobic, but it's just fucking sweaty Bob on top of me, and I know him. And the second I tap, it's all over. It'll be fine. It teaches you so much, bro. Like, the amount of people that you see them come in and varying levels of anxiety or social anxiety or whatever it is, but then within like 6 months, it's like they've got it, but not in that space, and that must be so. I don't suffer anxiety, thankfully, and anything like that, but it must be exhausting. And then to have that reprieve while you're at training and not have to think about that shit, it would be invaluable, bro.
It is. I know from myself, like, there's times when I go to the gym, I am very anxious at times. Just there's no. If I knew the reason for it, I'd stop it, I suppose. But I force myself to roll, and then for the time that I'm rolling, I feel fantastic.
Bro, I've never. When I was a white belt, there were times where like 6 o'clock would come, and I'd choose to rest because I was tired or whatever the fuck, and I'd always feel bad. I'd always feel like the biggest piece of shit. But the times that I forced myself, I never walked out and was like, oh, like I should not have come. I always like, of course you should have come. Like, this is what it feels like when you leave. Like, you're gonna feel way better for it. So it's a super vital tool for people, and like we've mentioned before, bro, it's not just arm bars and leg locks and takedowns and worlds and stuff like that. There's so much more it can offer to somebody, even if you have no desire to compete or don't have a competitive bone in your body. We had a 67-year-old guy sign up the other day, and I was trying to tell him, I was like, do you know how fucking awesome you are, bro? Like,
bloody oath.
To even try. Like, he's like, oh, I'll probably never make it to black belt, and I'm not going to be much training for anyone. I was like, you need to get out of this mindset, because just walking in here at 67 years old, willing to try a combat sport, brand new, you got
he's already
brass
winning
stones, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I told him I would not be doing this. there's not a chance I'll be doing this, and not because I shouldn't. I just wouldn't have the bravery, And
Yeah,
um,
so good.
yeah, it's a super powerful tool. So, when do the girls head to Worlds, bro?
We're leaving on
Well, just
the 26th, I think it is. So it's only 2
26.
weeks, week and a half, something
Very
like
soon, very soon.
that.
Yeah. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that, and we'll reshare everything, the little journey and stuff that's going on. But is there anything else coming up for either Mildura BJJ or First Nations? Are there any avenues you could direct people if they wanted to help out with the First Nations stuff or with the scholarship athletes? Would they just contact you? What's the best way for people if someone's listening, how they get involved and help you out?
There's heaps of stuff we're always doing. Like we've got other programs as well that we run. We've got a men's/boys program that we run every second Sunday.
Beautiful.
That's just we get the lads in there and do whatever. It could be culture stuff, or it could be jiu-jitsu or kickboxing, something like that. Just a couple of hours, and we provide a feed for them.
Nice.
And just to give them something to do.
Yeah.
Same thing every other fortnight is we've got a women's/girls group where they do cultural things like making Indigenous jewellery or
I've seen that, the artwork and stuff.
Yeah, weaving and painting, and they do such a mad job doing that. So we've got them, and then like our scholarship program. Plus, we've got our First Nations, just our very first program that we just hold events every now and then for all kids to come in and just have a go and play some games and feed and stuff like that. So all that stuff, comes out of our pocket, and so any help to do any of that financially or whatever, it is greatly appreciated. Also, I need to get some form of minibus or something to get
to haul them around, bro. Yeah,
hectic. Doing 2 trips home before I get to go home every night. It'd be good to just load them all in and drop them all off and go home.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got any ideas of how I can store some minibus, that'd be great. But honestly, any help would be muchly appreciated, because these are good kids, and we want to keep doing more and more with them. Providing better opportunities and better experiences in life for them.
Yeah. And before we wrap it up, bro, is if there was a message for anyone, Indigenous or not, living in Mildura who might see this, and they were considering training, is there anything that you would say, or any advice that you would give them? Because I'm hoping some people in Mildura will see this as well through people sharing it around. But I coach at a gym, and I find that a lot of people don't come in the second they're interested. It takes them a long time to really commit and walk through the door. And if they knew a bunch of things or had a couple of misconceptions ironed out, it might have been easier for them. With that said, already having the awesome program you've got, it sounds like a super inclusive place, but is there anything else that you could say, or any tips for anyone who's interested in getting started with you guys about how they can do it, or what the best way about doing that is? Whether it's for a scholarship or whether it's for just a normal member, whoever.
Anyone, normal members, scholarship athletes, don't listen to that little person in your head, inside your head going, nah. Because you can do it.
You can.
And the other thing is, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I want to try, but I'm going to try and get fit first. There is no, just get your bum through the door. And for our gym especially, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, like apart from our scholarship athletes, we've got over 40 Indigenous members.
Wow,
that's pretty mad in itself.
That's heaps, bro.
They feel safe.
I reckon, in all seriousness, I reckon you got more Indigenous members than people in Adelaide have members in general. There'd be definitely teams out there. So, like I said, man, don't you're probably not underselling what you're doing intentionally, just through modesty, I would imagine. But it's fucking awesome, bro. It's awesome. So
I appreciate it.
I can agree with your tip about not listening to that little voice, because we've all got it for everything.
My
But
word.
yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, Luke, man. And I don't want to take up too much more of your time, because I'm sure you got to ferry some kids around to and from classes, and you got to teach them.
Yeah, so pick up time.
It's been awesome, and I hope people listening, inclusive of the people that are training at your gym, they get real pumped up about this, and they actually truly understand that there's a lot of people behind them, and a lot of people want them to succeed, and you as well. So yeah, thank you for your time, bro. I'll message you after this, and I'll grab all of the details for where people can find all your stuff and help out and all that type of stuff, and I'll flood it throughout the info boards and stuff like that. But yeah, man, Luke, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you when you were over, and it was a pleasure to chat to you today. So thank you very much for your time.
No, thanks so much, Chris. It was a pleasure to meet you guys. And thank you to Continuous Flow, and the support you guys have thrown behind the program. You honestly don't know how much that means to myself, but also the girls. Like, they just love the gear. They can't wait to get in it. They're always taking photos, and
Yeah,
so
that
good.
day when the bags was awesome. It was so cool to see their faces, bro. Like,
it was.
Yeah.
Support like yours at that, we haven't got that often. So that's what, sort of, I was a bit speechless when Jackie first messaged me saying, we want to support us. Like, what? And you want to support them?
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was just such a killer thing to do. So we really appreciate that. And yeah, you guys are all just awesome to talk to deal with. You're just so easygoing. That's what I love. I like talking to people that seem to have the same vibe I've got. So yeah, it's awesome.
Me too, man. Yeah.
That's on.
Nah, onwards and upwards, brother.
Yeah, cheers.
Awesome. Thanks again, Luke.
Thanks, Chris.